What's up, everybody? My name is Jordan, and welcome to Attack on Anime. For today's episode, me and Cameron will be giving you our top 3 personal favorite anime. So without further ado, I'm going to get right into mine. So number 3, I'm going to have to say is Akira. Now, Akira should technically be number 1 on everyone's list, but there's so many animes out there. Actually, Akira is actually an animated movie that follows a manga series of the same name. And it's one of the most influential animes of all time, honestly. Just its influence alone in terms of Western acceptance of anime and its influence on pop culture alone should just speak for itself. I mean, Kanye West's Stronger Video is a direct interpretation of Akira. Lupe Fiasco's most recent album is named after the protagonist, Tetsuo in youth. I mean, it screams every example of anime I can think of, from monsters, explosion, fan service, motorcycles, a crazy rivalry between two characters. It's everything, every example of anime I can think of. So the story is basically set in a post-apocalyptic community of Neo-Tokyo. Now, Neo-Tokyo is a reconstructed version of Japan, of the Japanese capital that was previously destroyed in a 1988 nuclear war. The shape of the city has changed dramatically, but not its problems. There's a huge social issue going on in the story where the community of Tokyo is falling apart, from students organizing to terrorists conspiring to overthrow the government to just unemployment generating consistent unrest in the society itself. The military is the main focal point in the story. The military plays a huge role in what's happening because they just develop and try to create a new energy called ESP. And ESP is this insidious energy source that grants a user telekinetic energy. Now, the problem is they just don't know how to control it yet. But when it gets into the wrong hands, that's when things go a little crazy now, okay? So basically, our young protagonist, Tetsuo, he comes along and he somehow gets access to this ESP. I don't want to spoil the movie for you just in case you all want to check it out. So basically, when Tetsuo gets the ESP, he has this natural talent and ability to manifest it and use its powers to its full extent. And he does some damage and wrecks some havoc into this new city. In closing, it's just a remarkable technical achievement in every aspect of animation, from imagination to originality to detailed designs to the amazing soundtrack. Akira is the GOAT. Alright, so for my number 2, I'm going to list Scryed. Now, basically, the story of Scryed is a bizarre uprising occurred in Japan that destroyed civilization. It killed many of people, and it caused the area to basically break off from Japan's mainland. Now, this region became known as the Lost Grounds. Now, over the years, some of the citizens of the Lost Grounds managed to build a new city in the corner of the Lost Grounds and surrounded it with a barrier to protect it from the impoverished inhabitants of the island's surrounding wastelands. Now, another interesting thing started to happen in the Lost Grounds. Something called Alter, the ability to rearrange matter at an atomic level, came into fruition, and these things called Inners, who were born with Alter powers, became known as Alter users. And Alter users who lived outside the city misused their powers and were branded as the natives. So we have this sort of dichotomy between the two Alter users. We have the Inners and the natives. Now, the police force known as Hold was constructed to control the native Alter users. A subdivision of it was later created called Holy, which was created and entirely made up of law-abiding Alter users. Now, however, Hold and Holy's control over the Lost Ground has become increasingly oppressive to the point that it started to enslave the Wasteland's people. Now we fast forward to the main protagonist, and his name is Kazuma. He's a reckless, hot-headed, kind of like a Naruto type of attack first guy, who's a native who lives with a little girl named Kanami. And Kazuma barely manages to survive off of working. He does anything he can for money. He doesn't care about anyone. As long as you pay him, he will do whatever job you need him to do. But he's working on a farm, and he's doing tasks for his friend. And he basically befriends this little girl. I can't remember if she like saved his life at some point, but basically she saw the good in him. She knows he's not as bad as he and as tough as he seems he is, but he does whatever he can in order to provide money for these people that he's staying with on his farm. So basically, Kazuma becomes caught in a conflict with Holy, and he kind of forms a fierce rivalry with this guy named Ryuho, who is basically like the elite of the inners or the native altar users. And his true intent is to be the strongest. He has this main attack called the Shell Bullet, which is really awesome. And him and Ryuho have this final battle, which is a common theme in anime. And it's so dope and it's so amazing. Now for number 1 on my list, I feel this is well deserved, and it's been the poster boy for anime for as long as I can remember. And it's actually been my introduction into anime. This is the first anime that I saw before I even knew what Japanese animation was, when I thought it was just a cartoon, which essentially it is. But anyway, it's none other than Dragon Ball Z. Typical, right? But Dragon Ball Z is just, it doesn't have the best storyline, but it has some very memorable characters. The classic Goku, the classic hero, not the smartest guy, but a great battle fighter, battle genius, if I may say the least. And the classic rivalry between him and Vegeta, basically doing everything he can to protect his friendship. Common things in anime now. But basically, this is the grandfather of anime. It shaped the example for some of the most popular animes of today. And it still serves as an influence. And basically, this along with Gundam and Akira kind of helped Westerners get more into anime and the acceptance of Japanese animation into the United States and across the world. But we already know the story of Dragon Ball Z, so there's no point in really me going into it. But it's just it's been with me. So honestly, my top 1 was very hard, but I would feel like I'm disrespecting myself if I don't include Dragon Ball in there. I mean, Goku, man. I remember like when I was younger, I would always just want to do a Kamehameha wave. I did everything I can. I used to try to practice doing the little blast thing, practice the form right to try to gather ki up. It's kind of funny looking back on it, but when you have an anime where you get emotionally attached to characters and you want to just continue with the series, when you buy merchandise, when you go outside and you buy the games, you running home every Saturday morning just so you can see the episode that took 10 episodes just for them to get through one fight scene. And the concept of time in that show is off, man. Like, I felt that my concept of time is off because I'm usually late to a lot of things. But, man, I'm telling you, the planet was supposed to blow up 20 episodes ago in 3 minutes. So, 3 minutes in Dragon Ball Z is equivalent to, like, 20 episodes. I mean, yeah, it has some plot holes and things of that, nonetheless. But it's still one of the greatest animes I've ever seen and that I've had a pleasure of watching. And that's my top list. So I'm going to take it over to Cameron and let him introduce his.
Now, starting off the list is going to be Hitman Reborn. Now, Hitman Reborn follows Suna, and Suna is just a normal, average high schooler or junior high. I can't really remember what grade he's in. But he's just a normal schoolboy, and he's just going to school until one day a hitman comes out and he says, "You're going to be the next Vongula boss." And the Vongula boss family is pretty much a mob family. And Suna's inheriting it after their newest master died, and he chose Suna to become the next master. And Suna's reluctant to do it at first because he's just like a shy, timid boy. Like, he doesn't really even talk to girls or anything. So he's just like, how am I going to become the Vongula boss? And his master tells him, I'm going to train you. And what I really like about this anime is the bond between his friends, because when a Vongula boss is chosen, he has to choose who's gonna be by his side the whole time and who's gonna be defending the new Vongula family. And he chooses all his friends that follow him along the path, and they're all like, they're not really like overpowered. That's what I really like about this anime too. They're like not overpowered. Like they have to actually train like really hard to get everything that they have to like earn all of their power. And when they win something or when they're in a fight, you feel for them. Like they feel like their lives are on the line with this. And that's just one thing I really like about this anime. Plus the animation and the fights, and just Suna's whole goal is just to protect his friends. Like nothing else matters. Like he doesn't care about becoming the next Vongula boss. He's just like, when an enemy comes, if I have the strength to fight, then that's what I love to do. I need to protect my friends at all costs. All right, moving on from my number 3 of Hitman Reborn, we're gonna go to my number 2, which is Hunter x Hunter. Hunter x Hunter follows Golden Freaks, who is a young boy trying to become a strong hunter in the world, and a hunter is pretty much the job of that universe. And his dad is one of the world-class hunters, and he's trying to become strong enough to go out and find his dad, who left him when he was very young. And his dad pretty much said, when you become strong enough, come find me, and we'll like test you, and like we'll see if what I've like experienced out in the world I can give to you, and like start passing it on to you. And this is just like that father-son kind of like, all right, I'm gonna go find my dad, and you just follow him on his journey. Now, a couple things I like about Hunter x Hunter is the amount of character development. Now, the character development along with the narration, like whoever narrates this show, I swear they're like the Japanese Morgan Freeman. Like when they explain stuff, they go so in depth. It's just like you're never lost unless the anime wants you to be lost. Like they explain everything down to like the psyche of like the person, like, and they go in depth in the heroes and the villains. So you know exactly what the heroes are thinking, you know exactly what the villains are thinking, and you know why they're doing what they're doing. Like you know their whole goal. You're never confused, or you're like, how are they this powerful, or how is this happening? You're never really lost. And Hunter x Hunter's animation is on point. And like when they start discovering their Nen techniques, now Nen is the equivalent of chakra in Naruto, but Nen is like their energy that they use to do their different moves, and they can get so creative with it. Like depending on how they train and what type of Nen user they are will depend on like what their abilities will be. Like you can be a summoner, you can be an enhancer, which will pretty much make you like stronger. And just following those different types are like really cool. This anime goes into character development really heavy. Like the characters start to feel for each other. You feel their bonds, you feel their connection, and you never really feel like that power of friendship moment will help them win. It's just they have to depend on their own strength, and they have to depend on all the training and all the things they've learned and how they battle, strategize, and everything. And all that together was why Hunter x Hunter is my number 2. Now moving on to my number 1, which will be Inyuasha. Now Inyuasha is following the story of this half-human, half-demon named Inyuasha, of course. And his ultimate goal is to become a full demon like his brother and his father. And when he's going about this, he's trying to like steal and kill. He's pretty much like a wannabe. Like you could call Inuyasha the biggest wannabe of all time. And he just really wants to be a full demon like his brother. So he goes around, he tries to steal the Shikon jewel. And he's just like, all right, I'll use this and it'll grant my wish to become a full demon. And over the course of the show, you start to see the character development. The show gets so real because as he's making human friends and human companions are following him around, at first he's like kind of against it. And he's just like, I don't know about y'all humans. Like, if you help me with my goal, all right, but I still want to be a full demon by the end of this. But by the end of it, he starts to not even care anymore about being full human or full demon. He's just okay with who he is, and that speaks a lot to me because it's just like at the end of the day, like we've all had that experience where we want to be something so bad that we see like on TV. Like we want to be like Drake. We want to just get all the girls and we want to have all the money. But at the end of the day, when you start to realize that you're okay with who you are inside. So that's why that anime really speaks to me. And the writing about it, the character development, it all just like works together so well that by the end of it, when Inuyasha is like, okay, I could become a full demon, I could wish to be human, but I'm just going to stick with who I am, protect my friends, and at the end of the day, I'm okay with being me.
Well, guys, thank you for watching our top 3 personal favorite anime list. We have more content coming on the way. We release a video every Tuesday and Friday. And I'd like to thank you all for watching once again. This is Attack on Anime. Subscribe, like, comment, give us feedback. Let us know what you think. Check out those animes, by the way, too. Take care, everybody.